So GA4 Predictive Audiences is new to us, was not around. I did not use it at all in UA, and it's really getting pushed down as some new tool. There are several different audiences that are available to us out of the box, and most of the clients that we have actually don't have these available to them. They require some pretty high traffic minimums in order for them to be useful, in order for them to be available to you in GA4. There are some minimums. So again, first of all, you do have to make sure that your GA4 account is set up to track purchase events properly. That should be step one for launching any GA4 account, but especially a requirement when we look at predictive audiences. Additionally, we need to have a minimum of 1,000 positive and a minimum of 1,000 negative signals to go to GA4 for them to know if a purchase is going to be made or if a purchase is not going to be made. So for most people, that'll be knowing that you have 1,000 purchases and then 1,000 add to carts, but ultimately 1,000 non-purchases. So 1,000 cart abandonments within a very short period. This is actually going to require about a 28-day period. Again, we only have one account that has all of the different predictive audiences available that I'm monitoring, and they do have quite a sizable spend and quite a sizable monthly traffic to the website. Diving into their specific use case in Google Ads. So we have several different audiences that we use for observation just to see how well they perform. And the very top one is the likely 7-day purchasers. This one has the highest ROAS of any of these audiences and a very, very high conversion rate. So this likely 7-day purchase audience is saying everyone in this audience is highly, highly likely to purchase within the next 7 days based on their previous actions on the website, based on the person that's coming to the website, and is definitely showing that it is working very, very well. This does include repeat customers. This does include past customers and new customers. So take that with a grain of salt. It's a little bit of everyone, whether that's new or returning customers. On the flip side, we also are observing some first-time audiences that have very, very poor returns. So just a 1x, less than a percentage in conversion rate. And they're actually performing worse than any of our other typical audiences. We usually have an audience of just all traffic just to see what the normal conversion rate is, what the normal ROAS is. And the likely first-time purchasers in this instance is actually performing worse than just our total average website traffic. In order to get these audiences set up, very simply is jump over into your GA4 account, and you can actually see the different templates that are ready to go for you when you click on the predictive button in the far right. They are going to be for usually first-time purchasers, churning customers, likely to churn. So definitely take a look at them if your account is large enough to utilize them and see if you're able to make use of them. So the likely to churn audience, test out some different ad copy, test out some different creative, see if you can get them back to the website and turn them into a purchaser. For most of our accounts, though, we do not have these predictive audiences available due to low traffic volume and just low purchase events. Again, 1,000 in a month, pretty large amount. So you need a lot of traffic onto the website in order to hit those benchmarks for the predictive audiences. If you do not have those predictive audiences available, some of the traditional audiences that we recommend using across all of our accounts are going to be just your standard all users. You want to make sure you have a baseline of what your conversion rates are, your session duration, purchases, AOV, etc. And just having an idea of what your standard everyday user on your website compares to some more segmented users is really, really interesting. Additionally, some of the other best practices that we'd recommend is having an audience for your all-time purchasers, anyone who's ever made a purchase on the website. If you have the traffic volume and you're able to segment further, we like to add in frequent purchasers or high AOV purchasers. So if you have people who consistently purchase, multiple times a month, multiple times a year, have them in their own audience. If you have people who are constantly purchasing double your site-wide average, have them in their own audience. Once they become large enough, you can start using lookalike audiences and similar audiences based on these high frequency purchasers or high AOV purchasers and see if there's any opportunity to find new customers that already match your best looking customers. Additionally, adding audiences who've completed certain actions. So if this is an add to cart, someone who's done a newsletter completion, a contact form, Any small event on your website should usually be its own audience. That way you can target people and help work them through the funnel when they've completed certain actions and you want to encourage them. You want to target them in a specific way to take the next step in an action and ultimately become a converted client. Those audiences were specific for our e-commerce clients. When we look at the audience recommendations for lead generation, we get a little bit more different here. Sometimes when we have a client that the only real goal at the end of the day is to get their contact information or get them to sign up for a demo or a quote, there's really only one goal that we can go for. There are some smaller goals that we can try to optimize for. So that includes people who have started the contact form. So if your GA4 is robust enough to know when a contact form has been started but not completed, you could target them, add them to their own audience to try to get them to come back and finish completing that contact form. Additionally, for contact information, if people are spending a lot of time on the website, so if the session duration is 2 or 3 times your site-wide average, it's likely that they're doing a lot of research, they're interested in what you have to offer, and they might be worth retargeting and remarketing down the road. Same with multiple page views. If someone is going 3 or 4 times deeper on your website, going to multiple pages, multiple blog posts, information pages on the website, creating multiple different audiences of people who have spent more and more time on your website might be worth retargeting and segmenting out separately. These different audiences can also overlap with e-commerce. We have a couple clients in the past where their purchase price is exceptionally high and they did a lot of purchases over the phone. So even though we weren't seeing e-commerce purchases through the website, we still knew that people who are spending 2, 3, 4 minutes on website or going 5 or 6 pages deep on average were highly likely to call in and make that purchase over the phone directly. Here on the screen, just a couple of examples of how you could get those set up. Session duration is just going to be over a certain number of seconds, and same with page views, over a certain number of views per user. You could segment those into 30, 60, 90 days, depending on how small your audience is. You might have to set that to a maximum limit. And if you're getting a lot of traffic in a short period, you could play around with shorter and shorter duration of each of those audiences and time out your remarketing as a lot more closely to when they were recently on the website.